Okay. Welcome to the CHAOSS weekly meeting, March 24th. I had a few things that I wanted to talk about today. So I'll put the minutes in the chat, maybe. Georg did it. So add your name, add how you're feeling today. I love this edition, like I said, in a different call. So just add your name to the list and then we'll get started. Alrighty. So I had a few things. I had a few things that I just wanted to talk about today that were kind of on the top of my mind. One is I updated the tracking spreadsheet. So if you go to the minutes, and you can click on that link, I updated the tracking spreadsheet based on conversations that we've been having for the community review. I can change these. So and there are a few other questions that I have as well, but first, let me first again say thanks to Sala for putting this this thing together in the first place, because spreadsheets are they're wonderful but also painful. So it was a lot easier to kind of get this organized based on the work that Sala had done. So thanks again, Sala.
Oh, thank you.
So right now you'll see, if you take a look at any of the tabs, DNI evolution, risk, value, or common, there's a new one called under community review. Do you see that?
Yeah, I see it. I'm trying to find the metrics that are currently under review and tag them correctly.
Oh, thank you.
Everyone. Sorry, I'm late.
Okay.
Hey, Sean.
So we're looking at the metrics tracking spreadsheet.
Right
Sean,
on.
a lot of feedback.
I'm giving a lot of feedback.
I think so.
At least background noise.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, background noise. I can definitely
Okay. So the rationale here again for folks was that because we now do the rolling releases, that we would tag metrics that are currently in that 30-day window, that are currently under review. So that's really what was added here. And I cleaned up a few things. We had gotten rid of the move option, so I cleaned that up as well. So everything should be working okay. Again, thanks to Sala for doing this. So then, does anybody have any questions on that? Do you not like the color? Do you not like the name? And I'm hoping it's pretty straightforward. So this is for working groups that are doing kind of the rolling releases. Sala, did you have a question?
Yeah, so I think maybe the color could be orange or something for under review.
Sure.
Just you know, stylistics, nothing wrong with that color. Just the palette is a little bright. That's all. So
and see the DNI, tab. Click on the DNI tab.
Yeah.
Can you see the cell just to the right that I have highlighted here?
Yeah.
Can you put the orange that you would like there?
Oh, definitely. Yeah.
And maybe the background color too of the text.
Oh, so yeah, the background would be orange, and I think it would be, yeah. Maybe.
You just go ahead and pick the style, and then I'll update it. No problem there.
Yeah, and then, so I think it should be a little darker. It should be gold, and then this way, when it's white, we would be like under. No, it has to be darker.
So while Sala is doing that, the other thing on this template was right now. Do you see column C? It's the version. It's the template column. So do you remember we had this column because we were changing over from kind of an old metrics design to a new template that was considerably tighter and clearer and all that kind of stuff. And so we were doing that just to kind of track to make sure that metrics had been converted to the new template. But at this point, every metric comes out on this second version of the template. Do we want to keep that marker because it's kind of obvious information at this point? Do we want to add a column that has something to do with like date, particularly as we're doing rolling releases? You know, when the date for the comment period is over or something like that. I'm just thinking out loud here. These are things that were crossing my mind early this morning when I was updating this. Anybody have thoughts on that?
My thought is that we don't need this column anymore, so I agree with that. And we do have a remarks column, which we are using just to link to the document for the most part.
Yeah.
So maybe we replace the template column with the remarks column and then name the column that is currently remarks as the link to metric. So that way you get that information that you need in this document of what the status is, what the date is, all that kind of information. And then we have the link to the actual working document or markdown file.
Like the issue? Like most of these are showing up as issues.
Some of those are Google Docs, some of those are markdown files. I don't, at least skimming through, I don't see any issues in that column D.
Yeah, no, there are no issues there right now. I guess I was trying to understand what, okay, so just, how about this? Look at the D&I template and I'll share my screen. So if I look at the D&I, this right here, template, you suggest that that should be renamed.
That's the new remarks column.
So call this remarks.
Yeah.
Okay. And then just get rid of these, right?
Yep.
And then
yeah, I don't know how to change it so it's just a text field, not a drop-down field.
I think I know how to do that. I think I learned how to do that. Data validation, text. Oh, oh wait, remove validation. Data, sorry, remove validation, ta-da.
Oh, cool, excellent.
So data validation, remove validation, so like that.
Yes.
And then take these and like put these over here, is what you're saying. That looks horrible now, but.
No, I would leave that where it is and just rename that column, like link to metric or issue.
I see.
And then we can write in the remarks like
I see.
End of review period date.
I see. Okay, gotcha. And if there's,
I don't think you need the contact column at all.
No, I agree. Okay, you like that? So then, yep, link to metric or issue. Remarks would be like community comment period ends April 14th or something like that.
Yep.
Okay.
I've also got something to throw out there.
Yeah.
So as someone who had worked kind of peripherally on the metrics for a while, but not too much,
yep.
It was nice. It would be nice to have something like a column that was just when was this last updated, so that I know where it was and kind of even if it wasn't released, like to know when it was last worked on, that without having to look at the commits on GitHub or something like that. Just have a list of that would be nice. But I don't know if we can do that retroactively very easily.
So we have that contact row.
Yeah.
Like that?
Yeah, I don't think we have to go back and do all that, but just to update it when we make changes, it would be nice to have that as a kind of a historical list.
And what do people think of that?
Is that something we can, and Solly, I'm looking at you because you're the wizard of these spreadsheets. Is that something that can automatically be filled when we change a value in a column?
Are we thinking of countdown days? Because I was distracted in that. I was trying to get that to work in my little cell. So could you just backtrack a sec?
So we want to add in column E a date when that row was last edited.
I think there might be something like that, but I will have to dig deep. So could I do that after the meeting and maybe?
Oh yeah, no, I was just wondering, maybe you knew. Otherwise, we can manually edit that.
There's a way to get some metadata about a cell. I just don't know if Google considers such metadata as last modified being the kind of information. It has been a long time, so potentially yes, but not necessarily.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
But yeah, I definitely want to explore it because under review, I was thinking it could read under review until, and then it counts down the day. So, you know, the day you set it to under review, you would know how many days are left. So anyways, those are two features I'll look into. Sounds good?
Yes, thank you. And then I see you updated the orange with the black. I'll get that done.
Yeah.
And then I'll also take care of all the other sheets.
Yeah.
The orange.
All right. Well, thanks.
What happened to that? What happened to wrong number of arguments to concat?
Oh, I'm still working on the formula.
Oh. Okay. Okay. Gotcha. I'm going to end my sharing then. Okay. Thank you. Any other comments on the tracking spreadsheet? Okay, good. I had, you'll see I had in there community reports. Gare, you had shared a fairly large document a while back. You remember that?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Can you track that down again? I was hoping we could take a look at that just a little bit here. Because I heard back from Amanda here at UNO to help with some of the formatting, but the first question, of course, she asked was, can you tell me what needs to be on one page? You know what I mean?
Yes.
She didn't want to cut content.
Let me look for it real quick. Here, let's see. I'm putting it in the chat, and let me know. Is that the one you're looking for, or
there might be another one? Yeah, this is the one. There's a fairly long document. Yep, this is the one. So again, for those of you kind of tracking on the community reports.
Something. The document I know had a table at the beginning where I summarized the data. Now it just has the instructions. Something is missing. I'm gonna look at the version history.
Okay, hopefully I didn't believe it.
The link I clicked on has a ton of stuff.
Yeah, Gare was saying there was a summary table on page 1.
Oh.
That seems to be absent.
Here, I'm restoring an old version.
Did I do it?
It might have your name on it.
What? Oh, well, yeah, I could probably go, okay.
So I added the table again.
Thank you.
With the colors. Yeah, that looks familiar now.
Okay. So could we spend just a few minutes on this, Georg, to kind of talk about like what I could give to Amanda? So So for folks that are kind of tracking here, Amanda is somebody who works here at the university who does marketing work, and she's willing to take some time to kind of get these community reports into more professional looking forms. Not saying Georg's isn't crazy professional, but and so I sent her this document saying, can we get this down to say a page, just a single PDF that we could hand out as a community report. And the first thing that Amanda asked was, sure, can you tell me what data needs to be on that single page? She wasn't comfortable removing data.
Here, I
So,
can share my screen and then we can talk through this document.
Thanks.
Do you see?
I do. Can you get rid of the pictures of us?
Get rid of what?
The gallery view of us. Or, oh no, that's me. Never mind.
Yeah, that's in the Zoom. That's Zoom technology right there.
Whatever. Too many layers going on. All right. I see it, Georg. Thank you.
Okay. So here, the things that I think are relevant are the things in green, where we have code changes, and then this is the number. And that's really the data that we have, everything in this table. Everything that is below this is background information, how we got the data and the numbers. But all
of the screen captures relate to that green highlight, don't they?
Yes.
Like if you scroll down a page or two, like that code changes.
59,792, and that is
okay.
Code changes 59,792.
Gotcha. Okay.
So this is what we want on the sheet. Everything down here can be ignored.
Okay.
It's just here for someone who wants to replicate the report.
Okay. Can you scroll down again? One more page. Do you care to have the Kibana screen, or do you just care about the raw number?
I just care about the raw number. I don't think the screen is very visually pleasing.
Okay. Just asking before. Okay.
So.
And then if you scroll down to page, I don't know what page I'm on here. The one with the donut chart. There. How do you propose to get that in there?
I can get the raw data and then Amanda can recreate this in whatever looks pleasing. So if that's what I would propose, is to just recreate it in a different software that makes it look better rather than taking a screenshot.
Okay. Okay, and is that it? Everything else is just raw numbers. Okay. Okay. And just give that to me, and then I'll give it to Amanda all in one.
Yeah, sure. Okay.
Just as opposed to both you and me. So here are different equals.
We've been using Google presentations, like the PowerPoint version, with the Zephyr report, and we haven't been providing one page because the questions they have are not one page summary questions. One of the things I noticed is they don't. I mean, we've done a lot of captioning of the graphics and then a little bit of explanation of what things mean, and I didn't see that on the Jenkins report. I'm not saying it needs to be there, but I'm just, I suppose, asking the question about what the objectives. Well, first of all, the objectives for the report, I suppose, could be different from community to community, but are we wanting to offer any sort of descriptive analysis of what we're providing?
The way back the Wayback Machine of why these reports even existed in the first place was really just to give community managers something to hold and bring forward to their community members or to the organizations that they represent within the
Right.
community. So just really simple,
Right.
not the deep dives. I mean, I know you've, on the Zephyr project, you spend time with Kate, like considerable time. So this was meant to be kind of a faster way of getting this information just in front of people.
I see. I see.
And I think you're right, each community will naturally be a little bit different.
Yeah. I mean, yeah.
But the hope was is that other communities could just look at the Jenkins X report and be like, oh, sweet, maybe we can
Right.
do one of those too.
Right. Well, and everything we're doing for
And
the
they
Zephyr
can.
report is like easily regenerated for any repository.
Yeah. I mean, I have honestly over time been wondering a little bit with things like Cauldron that communities can just, do these themselves on the web. If that's gonna kind of confound some of the utility of doing a community report.
I think if
Because I mean, Cauldron's a quick spin up.
yeah, I think if the community report is just a high level overview of metrics, then I think that's you know that's kind of easily provided by just a collection of different dashboards for different kinds of community questions.
It makes me
And working with Zephyr and a few other communities, the things they want answers to are more detailed, and I think will result in new metrics being proposed. So I think there'll be this cycle that occurs, and I don't know what's the best way, and there's probably not one best way.
No, probably not. I was just thinking to let Georg with this community report to Jenkins X. And is it something that when the report is handed over, it's like, want to know more kind of thing, and sending them over to, in this case, say Cauldron, right? Or in the case of, say, reports that are generated via Augur, want to know more, send them over to the APIs. You know what I mean? Because the reports themselves are fairly high level, and Cauldron or the Augur API gives you a lot more under the hood. I don't know what you think about that, Georg.
So I have two things.
And I would love to use these to drive people. Yeah.
So one thing, I've not been keeping up with the Zephyr community report, but it sounds like you already have some presentable slides or something. So I would be curious if you can maybe share those at some point, or maybe include them today if you have.
Yeah. Let me just double check with Kate that that's okay. I see her concerns. Let me just check with Kate if I can share that. Kate Stewart. I don't know what her answer will be, but I suspect it will be yes.
Okay. Because that's what I thought we were trying to do, is develop them as a community in the open, and so learn from that as a community and get feedback on the metrics.
Yeah.
So any feedback that you already received or new metrics that came from that, I think that is valuable input into our metric definition process.
Yeah, and I think and the only reason I hesitate and I want to check with Kate is there's essentially some competitive analysis that she's got in her report, and I just want to make sure that that's releasable and I think it is in the form that it is in right now, because we don't name the competitors, but I want to check with her.
Gotcha. And then the second thing to your question, Matt, is I'm happy to write a blog post describing for the Jenkins report how the metrics were gathered and how someone else can get the same metrics for their own community. Okay. Basically have a tutorial step-by-step on how you go about using Cauldron to get these numbers. I think that gets to your question of how we can help other communities get this, right?
Yeah. And the report, right? I mean, it's only, if I look at the green things, half a dozen items. And obviously Cauldron is provides considerably more insight than those 6. So you want to know more? Go check out Cauldron. You can generate these yourself, and you can play around with more information if you'd like. So, okay, great. All right, cool. Thank you. All right, well then, kind of my action item is sorry if we had talked about that before, but I'll get this together for Amanda and start getting this at least onto a 1-page PDF, and then we can just kind of go back and forth on kind of stylistically what these things would look like.
And will she build that PDF in like using a tool that can be then, like, the template can be reused, hopefully?
That would be yep, that would be the hope.
Okay.
We don't have to do this. Yeah, I mean, I don't know that I would like to reach out to Amanda every time we want a new community report. So yeah, if it can be as simple as replacing some logos, you know what I mean? And getting some folders and data.
Yeah, if it's going to be professional, it's probably not going to be in Microsoft Word or Google Doc. Would be my guess.
She's a pro. And I'm guessing, I mean, maybe it makes me think about, like, if we're templating this, it's trying to, maybe the template essentially holds 6 to 7 metrics, whatever those might be.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
there's just a space on a 1-page PDF. Yep, exactly. And then as Augur creates 7 different metrics, then Jenkins X, or Zephyr creates 7 different metrics than what Jenkins X creates. That's fine. But you have the template to kind of plug that information in. Great, I froze. Okay.
I froze?
No, I think I froze. Did I freeze? Okay. All right. 6 to 7 metrics. Thank you. Okay, thank you. All right. Okay. Any other comments on the community report from folks? Thank you. All right, so I have on here also the move to GitLab. This is happening, yes? At some point, we just have to say yes or no. And I honestly haven't heard any, I've heard mostly anecdotally, I suppose, in favor of doing this move. Pending we do it correctly, pending we do it over time. Georg, there's a document that has been started to try to talk about this move. I think the intention here is to kind of finalize this document with respect to a move to GitLab. And then we would send it to the board. Am I remembering this correctly? We would just get signed off by the board.
Yeah, we would do like an email sign off on the board. We didn't want to do it at the board meeting because we wanted to make sure there was enough time in the community to discuss it, but there was no hesitation. So at some point we should say, yeah, let's do it. And I don't know if it's this meeting or if we wait for the monthly call.
Why don't we just wait for the monthly call and then we can, but that's kind of my impression. Does anybody have anything on this?
So, I mean, just a quick question. Is it just a heads up to the board, or is this, does the board have to like approve this? Like,
I think we would have approved.
Yeah, go ahead.
I think the board has to approve it, but I think but I think it'll be a rubber stamp if there's no objections.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not sure like why a board would have to approve it. Like, if the technical community thinks this is going to help them with their job, like, you know, what is the board going to do, right? So, I mean, if it's...
I was looking for the minutes. I was looking for the board minutes to see if we had, and there wasn't anything. So unless I totally missed it or we didn't get it in the notes. So maybe it can just be a heads up that we do an open period. You know what I mean? Like an open comment period.
Right.
which I
Yeah.
always do.
I mean, unless the bylaw says the board has to make a weigh in on like the tools decision, I don't know if the board does. But
So is this moving everything to GitLab?
The majority of things. So yes.
It is moving the collaboration from GitHub to GitLab, and we are going to continue mirroring the repositories to GitHub so that we still have a presence on GitHub.
And
But
I think
all issue trackers, all work that we're doing will be done through GitLab.
but I think we also discussed doing a pilot and not starting before fall.
Correct.
Yeah. And so that's all described in that document. I think we wanted to get community input on this document, which is the proposal, and then put this on the mailing list as.
Where's the document at? Where's the document at?
In Google Docs.
Could you share it?
Share
Sorry,
I've
been working on
somebody
something.
pasted.
That was from Ray. I'll grab the document, Kevin.
Is it not in the minutes? I assumed it was in the minutes, but I didn't actually look.
I didn't get it in this week's minutes.
But yes, I have the document here. Weekly minutes, move to GitLab. Okay, there, it's in the Google Docs. Sorry, I was in a different document. I assumed everyone was looking at it already.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So yeah, in this document, if you go through it, that's where we have open questions, where we are trying to iterate on what are the things we need to know from GitLab or process-wise. And then right now, the proposal is for the timeline that we will inform, well, we informed the governing board at the meeting, and then we'll close this discussion period in 2 weeks. And then, yeah, either ask board approval or just inform the board that this is happening so that.
I think, yeah, based on what Ray put in the chat, I think it's more informing the board. Yep.
Okay, so I'm updating the timeline live in the document.
Thank you. Okay. Okay. So I guess kind of the open period's already open. Maybe we could send it to the mail list one more time. Has it been sent to the mail list?
I think we emailed it to the mailing list. Well, I know I did.
Oh, okay. Well, if you did, then it did happen. So
I can look up the archive.
maybe just one more. We could send it out one more time. Okay.
Sure. I'll take the action item to send a reminder.
Okay, thank you. Okay, so maybe then this is kind of just a heads up that I'm not hearing any real objection. I think that we have an opportunity to contribute as well to GitLab, which is pretty cool. We do own the, I don't know what you call it in GitLab. Is it an organization, right? The /CHAOSS.
or group, I think.
Group.
Kevin or somebody already like secured it, right? So.
Yep, we have it. So we got the highest level thing. So.
Yep.
And then it looks like right now in the proposal, so that timeline, maybe Sean, we should put something in here in terms of the move.
Yeah, I think like September 1st or something like that, you know, in the fall, so that my team is in town and can make it happen
I'm
for
willing
Augur.
to move. So
And I think it also lets us experiment over the course of the summer and not have to change everything in the middle of Google Summer of Code.
no, I agree. I totally agree. So
And I say September 1st because our European colleagues take most of August off.
so are there any
So we do have an item in the FAQ down below about when will this migration take place,
oh, I see that.
timeline. So we can move that up or cross-reference or something.
What
Just
is
move
the
it
what is
down.
the time? Yeah, what is the? I don't see a link to the doc. Is it in
It's
the
in the
minutes?
minutes.
Yeah, okay. I never know when I should be looking in Zoom or looking in the minutes.
I just get rid of this. What do you say? When will the migration? What happened to it? Oh, there it is. So, would we have Georg or anybody I think doing some pilot repositories to move over is a
So
good idea.
unfortunately, we don't have anyone from Grimoire Lab on the call because I think they're the ones who would be most interested in doing the pilot.
Okay, well maybe I can just hold off on that question until next week.
I think the moment we agree that we are moving, we can let the working groups know that they can stay or move or do whatever, and then
No, I don't want that chaos. I don't want to have to try to figure out which platform a working group is using. And I don't think anybody wants that chaos.
okay.
Because that's gonna force us all to basically move at once, and that's gonna create the situation where we're gonna have to move a bunch of code in the middle of, at the end of the academic year, in the middle of the Google Summer of Code. So, I mean, I think one of the core principles that we've had all along is that it would be in the fall. And maybe you guys tell me if I'm wrong, but
No,
like
it's fine.
it causes a lot of pain to try to.
No, it's
if it's not like sort of a move date, it becomes, we can begin experimenting obviously, but I don't want to have to try to figure out where stuff is, and I don't want my Google Summer of Code students either to have to do that.
Yep. No, what I was trying to say is we can let Grimoire Lab folks or Biturgia know that they can move over at their own schedule. And only Grimoire Lab, not all the other working groups, the metrics working group.
or Augur.
Or Augur.
But
that we learn from Grimoire Lab moving over, and we as a community.
So we're trying to do two things here, right? We're trying to ask for a pilot to occur. Sorry, I think my internet's unstable.
Yeah, I think the summertime is when the pilot would occur, but we would still maintain GitHub as our primary place to go.
Yeah, that's fine. So
during the pilot period.
Yeah. So we have to. Okay. So working groups and Augur don't move until September 1st. No touch any of those till September 1. Correct?
It would be easiest for me to move the website over there over the summer. So we could treat that as a pilot if you wanted to.
Okay. Okay. That sounds good. So Sean, we're just trying to, you keep suggesting pilots, and we're trying to figure out what those pilot repositories might be.
Yeah.
So the website could be one of them, and Georg was proposing Grimoire Lab could be one of them as well. That Grimoire Lab could work to move over the course of summer.
Okay.
But you don't seem to like that idea.
Well, I don't. I mean, I don't have a problem with that idea. Because then we basically know that all the working groups are going to be on GitHub, so we all know where to go, and
Correct.
um, and I don't have to deal with all of the stuff related to the hooks we have built into GitHub all at once, while I'm doing Google Summer of Code and my students are not as active.
Correct.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep,
So I mean,
think
nobody.
we're on the same page there.
Yeah, and then and then I know I can find all the working group information in one site. So
Yeah.
like knowing where to go, that could get confusing really fast. So yeah, that works for me.
Yeah. Points well taken. Okay, so perhaps over the summer, all or parts of Grimoire Lab and the website
Yeah.
to provide insight, and then September 1 would be Augur and all of the metrics working groups.
Yeah, and yeah, I imagine we'll all play with it before then as well. But,
Yep. Okay. 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 All right. So thank you for that. We have a little bit of time remaining. Is there from Sala or Matt anything from badging, the DNI badging? I did want to address an issue on this as well.
So I guess, yeah, we are holding weekly Sunday meetings now, not bi-weekly. So we went to 2 hours every Sunday. This way we have a little bit more, I guess, anchors to keep us focused on what needs to happen. So far, we're just in the process of, we have Asta and we have Tola, basically from Google Summer of Code and Outreachy. They're working towards their proposals, which are due, by the first week of April or the 31st of March.
Yeah.
So we're kind of trying to figure out, what are the next steps that we can take, to prepare that, they would find what they're doing over the summer is building towards, a comprehensive or a cohesive program. But we did have a question mark about GitLab, moving to GitLab, in that over there they use groups, I guess, as opposed to orgs. And I'm not sure if anybody has tried to secure the group names for CHAOSS or badging, but it seems I couldn't get those. I personally,
Kevin did, right? Or somebody did for CHAOSS.
CHAOSS is secured,
yeah,
but not badging, I don't think.
yeah. So for me, I'm kind of like doing everything I can to be, on top of things on GitHub. I still have a long way. So for me, badging GitLab is kind of that place where I just make sure my repos are mirrored, but I don't necessarily open it, not in the browser. So I guess we don't have any firm plans or any firm direction on what level of move you guys would want us to have for the badging program.
So a long time ago, kind of originally, some of the early thoughts about this was that badging was actually kind of independent of the CHAOSS project, in the sense that it deployed CHAOSS metrics, but it could certainly be used by open source communities as well as, say, academic events. You know what I mean? But it wasn't necessarily just kind of CHAOSS related stuff. So for me right now, having it on GitHub/badging seems very appropriate, but I don't know what other people think. I mean, the other option is to, and I'm not familiar with the workflow on GitLab and how much different it would look. but is to have it just under the CHAOSS organization / badging, or CHAOSS group /
If I'm
badging.
understanding correctly, GitLab gives us an additional level, so the decision is, does badging go under DNI, or does it have its own Grimoire Lab, Augur, working group level?
Yeah.
The way we were looking at it as an organization on GitHub is that we have badging, and then we have like a section called diversity and inclusion that we have a subset of repos. We could also have a section for Augur badges, or a section for different working groups kind of badges is what I think we were looking at. Maybe for the future, as long as diversity and inclusion launches well. And that's kind of we opened, Solly had the, I think you can talk on this too, but you kind of had it opened up when you created the organization that you can add more badges in the future.
Yeah. We also had this long-term idea that you know, whatever model we're doing here, it's a good open source model for badging in general.
Yeah.
It seems that open source likes badging, right?
I am.
Yeah. So for us, the idea was, you know, let's not put firm plans on the future, but let's think if the future, you know, has a lot more than just DNI. Then you know, we are growing, and we're not necessarily renaming or rephrasing or rebranding how we're doing things. So we're just leaving it as unrestricted as possible for the future. So in other words, one day there could be more than just CHAOSS related initiatives that are getting badges under badging, but CHAOSS is the framework and the driver of the methodology used. And so it's like, you know, badging by CHAOSS, you know, other people are just buying into that framework, and, you know, delivering badges that benefit from, you know, whatever process we're able to put together, I guess.
So it sounds like I like that idea of the methodology by CHAOSS. I mean, as nice as it is to own the GitHub / badging organization, that's still pretty stunning that it was available. But
It is.
Maybe the more sensible thing is to actually have it under GitLab, under the CHAOSS group at GitLab.
Where badging is taken?
Yes, where badging is taken, but I mean, under the CHAOSS group, it would be /CHAOSS / badging. See what I'm saying?
I mean, I wouldn't give up the badging organization if we have it, though. I mean, that's
do have
still
it.
It's a great way to. We're still going to mirror things on GitHub.
Yeah.
And so, you know, I think that actually is going to have a lot of PR value to be badging on GitHub, and where it lives on GitLab is it's going to get fewer eyeballs, and I think having it branded as part of CHAOSS, it doesn't hurt CHAOSS. And I think having the badging org on GitHub helps both the badging initiative and CHAOSS. So like,
yeah, it's pretty amazing.
I see it as a win-win. But if you have, I don't know if
my only other thought is if it moves to GitLab. Right now, some of the workflow is being based on JAWS, the Journal of Open Source Software.
Mm-hmm.
And so a lot of the bot work that they do, like the assigning and stuff, is on GitHub. So,
like I was thinking, you know, let's get a working model in a place that is familiar. Like since we're going to be working with interns who basically came to the GitHub, you know, progression. We're on a GitHub progression. I know that we will not have a one-to-one translation to GitLab if badging is not on GitLab. And so let's see what it looks like to know what we are trying to, you know, proxy or reflect. And if at the end of the day, if it ends up being we want both, then maybe you know, we have to reconsider the application process. Do we know for sure that the PR process being on GitHub um, um, cannot be part of the whole badging repo that is on GitLab itself. Like, we're not sure if the whole system is moving or not, so we kind of want to see it in action.
That's fair.
You know, like not necessarily locked in on GitHub, but
Yep.
have enough to know what we're trying to transfer over.
Totally fair. Makes sense. Okay.
So
I had, yep.
yeah, thanks.
No, that makes a lot of sense. Thanks, Ella. And thanks, Matt.
Yeah.
I did have one point that I wanted to bring up. This has come up in the past about badging and making sure that the program kind of on one hand recognizes in this case, we'll just say the D&I efforts of say events or projects, but also doesn't serve as a kind of a negative mark for events and projects as well.
We had this discussion on Sunday, actually,
Oh, you did?
with one of
Okay.
the applicants. I put an Imgur link up here, and it's just a picture of part of the repo where it shows the different badge levels. This is kind of the framework we came up with, where if people aren't meeting the minimum of 3 requirements, it just shows pending. And if they don't want to put pending up, then they don't put anything up until they go passing. But like, there's nothing that says like not passing, not met, or anything like that.
Okay.
Nobody would want to put that up anyway. We want to have at least something that says they're working on it.
Okay. Because I do think we need to, so I think that's great. Thank you. I think part of the robustness of the program is that the reviews occur in the open, that it's not just a self-certification program. And so even just having that discussion that people are working on components, a metric or two, I think is kind of what you're trying to capture here. Is that right?
Yeah, it could be one at a time. It could, but and that's most of the time. But it could also be multiple at a time that we get changed.
Okay. So thank you for doing that. I just want to make sure that we're. There's a lot of value for me in recognizing the D&I work that projects and events are doing. If they're taking the time to measure speaker demographics or attendee demographics, or they're attentive to a code of conduct, I think this can help recognize that they're deploying some of these metrics.
Yeah, and I'd also like to welcome people that don't know and would like to learn. I think that's part of it too.
We have to, so what's been brought up in the past is there may be certain metrics that are simply not attainable by an event. So for example, the one that has come up in the past is family friendliness, right? And if you're a small event, it's just not something that you necessarily provide at the scale of a larger event. So just making sure we don't penalize an event for not having a particular metric because it's just simply not within reach. Am I capturing this right for those of you that are privy to this conversation?
I think
Right.
I think what you're going for here is we were talking about if the badge is an SVG asset, then you could JavaScript applicability to open a kind of like the detail of the certificate in a new window. And I'm thinking to myself, the badge certificate page would kind of show icons for the different criteria that it actually applies words. And it would show, you know, check marks on the parts that actually pass the threshold. And then those that don't pass the threshold would basically just be grayed. Those that do not apply would not be in the picture. And then when you hover over it, you can see the details, if that's the kind of information you want to make available. But this whole idea that if it is an SVG image, then it could link back to a, you know, just like a certificate of the badge, a little explainer on what it means. All that would be valuable information that would be hard to capture in just the badge. But you could give a badge that kind of implies that they're doing a good job, or they could do better, or so forth.
And I think it's also it's an important thought to bring up that we could explore the inclusivity of the badge program itself.
Yeah.
To smaller organizations, smaller events. So we could definitely look over what questions we have now, and say, do these apply to everyone that would apply in this category?
Yeah. So yes, that would be. This all sounds great. My correlate is on the other, like being a professor on one hand. Sometimes our evaluation criteria are based on class reviews. And certain people teach very large, hard courses, and they are naturally killed on reviews. I don't know how Sean does in his software engineering class, but that's a classic class of getting very difficult reviews because it's an early class and it's a large class.
Right.
Versus faculty who sometimes teach, two-person classes of PhD students. Naturally, the reviews are very high. And so being careful not to penalize people based on what they've been dealt.
Right.
That
yeah, if you're doing there are some events that are never going to get badged, and we don't want to shame them.
Correct. And even though they're doing good work, now granted, I think if they're going to be asking for a DNI badge, they have to be doing efforts towards improving DNI at their event, but making sure the bars can be met in some form or fashion.
So just one last tangent on inclusivity. It came to me, I'm working on the new Node.js dev team, like the website that they're going to launch eventually. And basically we're working very horizontal project style now. It was vertical a bit, and now it's horizontal. Yep. Everybody's making decisions together. We're talking about internationalization, crowdsourcing, translation, and so forth.
Mm-hmm.
We're talking about using semantic templates for content to allow content to be translated in different markdown files, but paragraph per paragraph. So this idea that CHAOSS is doing amazing things, we would love for CHAOSS to be accessible in different languages. We thought maybe badging could be a small place to try to come up with a workflow, a model workflow on how to go about creating a translatable experience to your open source resources, your documentation, and so forth. It's very, very raw. There are too many thoughts there, of course, but just wanted to say that this is something I would love to explore further. It would be nice to start small, maybe in that thing, and then see if we come up with a model for everything CHAOSS. Yeah.
So I mean, in the minute we have, or the 30 seconds we have here, I mean, my response is yes. That would be great. I mean, if you're willing to take a look at what internationalization and translation would look like in a corner of the CHAOSS project, which is the DNI badging, that would be fantastic, because this is something we haven't talked about or looked at over the years. But I see a lot of projects doing this.
Yeah, so I'm a geek about markup and basically how do you mark up things so you can actually extrapolate and interpolate other variants of that markup. So
yeah, no, I'd say that'd be great. I'd love to hear how that goes.
All right.
Cool. Folks, we're at the top of the hour. Thank you very much.
All right, thank you.
And we will see you in a week or sooner.
All right.
Take care. Stay safe. Stay smart. Bye.
Take care, everyone.
Thank you. Bye-bye.